Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Slow Customs. And in today's episode we have Atlas, the X mid-solar mine engine. Now Atlas is the number 3 of the Solar China Clay Company in my universe. So it's kind of why she's in these colors. Little bit of lore, I guess, just because she's kind of an out there character. Atlas was left at the mid-Sodor for about 40 years until a salvage crew came and found her. But before she was scrapped, the manager of the SCC needed another engine because the mines were being expanded and the company grew, so they needed a narrow-gauge mine engine to help with extraction of the clay. So she was brought to Croven's Gate, restored and brought over to the clay pits. Anyway, so that's a quick rundown of the lore on her. So yeah, let's get to her construction. We'll start with her main body here. That tends to happen. I'll just stick him right there. Anyway, so start where we usually do, and that's the front. So the front of Atlas is a piece of balsa wood to make up the running board. Her face is a milli face, just because I'd recently got one. And then her main tanks here, that would be a, I believe, 2002 Thomas, that I had the side tanks for and whatnot. So what I really had to do was cut off the boiler part up top, so that's kind of why it looks a little weird, maybe. There's a little bit of a darker line right there. That's because that's where the original paint was. So what I'll move the tender over here. So what I did was I just put, I think, 3, 4, 5 coats on her to cover up the paint, and just went with that. Underneath, to get this kind of like little cutout bit thing, that's just a piece of spare wood that I had lying around to give her some extra height, which honestly I think looks real good. I really like it. The cab area isn't as eccentric as it probably should be, but that's just 2 little bits of balsa wood glued onto the side tanks there and then onto the running board, and then just painted gray, or like a metal gray on the inside. So the domes and funnel, the domes for her are Thomas domes. One of them is the original funnel that I pulled out, and then the other is from, I don't remember which Thomas. But yeah, her funnel, I believe that's just like a small bit of dowel that I had lying around. So that's why it looks like that. I just realized I'm going kind of quick. I should probably slow down. Anyway. So with this livery, it's the same as my technically accurate Bill and Ben with the small versions of them, but I think I'm going to redo them in the future, and when I do, I'm actually going to put the SCC in red, like Atlas here, mainly because it's kind of hard to find a yellow that'll go onto another yellow without it looking like blending in or whatever. Anyway, so in the future, when I do my Bill and Ben, I will have them as red letters instead. So yeah, and as you could probably see, a little figure of mine could fit in her cab and actually look accurate this time, so I really like how that turned out. Originally, I did want to give her kind of like a cab thing where it's like a piece of wood there and it would have a roof, because technically that's how she is in my canon. She's like a really decked out version of Audrey's model, so anyway, that's kind of where that was. But anyway, so yeah, a little figure can fit in her pretty easy. The chassis was cut down. I believe this was a 2020 Thomas Wood truck thing. So I just kind of cut that down to size. Tried to get it to tender chassis size. But either way, I think it turned out pretty good. Now we'll move on to her tender here. So her tender went through, I believe, 2 renditions. Originally, it was just a complete rectangle, and it looked very boring. And then eventually, I came up with this. So this is kind of like a spare tender in case Atlas would ever need one. Like, she could probably run perfectly fine on her own. She wouldn't really need a tender. But like I said, in my Canon, she's a decked-out version of the Mayan engine, so... And the image I used had a tender, so... I just constructed something fairly simple. And yeah. So what I did was I took a Toby chassis, the same chassis that I got the cow catchers from my American Tour Scotsman. Or, sorry, 4. And then I cut those down and glued them together. I think the flat wheels honestly look pretty good. Like, compared to the little stud things that are on the side there, I honestly think these work good for the tender. Gives it more character. It is painted in the same yellow as Atlas, obviously. Lining is a little scuffed here and there, but I think it's fine. On the inside, this sidewall bit is still the same from the original. What I did was I took a piece of coal, like a coal load or whatever, cut it to size, and then stuck it right there as kind of just like a coal pile or whatever. I did add a little bit of a wall back there, so it kind of blocks off the coal, like it probably realistically would. And then I added like a barrel at the back. Now this could be either water or oil or whatever that the miners might need, or if Atlas needs more water, she can fill that thing up with water, and then there she goes. So that barrel is the same one that I used for my Glen boiler. It's obviously a different one, but yeah, it's the same kind of barrel thing. So I just painted that gray because I tried to remove the text on the inside, but it looked awful. So I had to cover that up with paint. That's why it's like a darker shade of gray, which honestly I think is pretty fine. The buffer beam back there, pretty simple. This thing is almost entirely made out of balsa wood, too. Really, really good craft wood because it's very soft. Painted gray, pretty simple. But yeah, so that will be my Atlas. Nameplates were also printed out. Sorry. I honestly really like how she came out. I was a little hesitant on the yellow, just because it's kind of an outlandish thing. But I think it turned out real nice once you put the lining on. So, really proud of how she came out. So yeah. Good. Sorry. I'm glad it reached a longer time now. So, sorry, I have no clue what they're. I'm a little excited. For reasons I probably can't say, but I will be on the news later tonight because I won a singing competition. Well, kind of competition. I don't know. It was a carry thing. Anyway, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, that's why I've been kind of getting this quick. Anyway, I've rambled on too long, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.